All right. Um, looks cool. Uh, Fixing my chat filter moderation. Let me make sure my AI Streamlabs moderators on point. Um, I think so. Yep. So my cloud bot is working. Okay, cool. So what's going on, everyone? Um, like I said yesterday when I did my stream talking about the male loneliness epidemic being BS, I said I will return tomorrow, time prevailing, to do a wholehearted defense of Gen Z, who I've been very critical about for the past 4 years. Now I will still be critical about them in many respects in the future as well. However, I want to defend them. I did this once before, uh, either late last year or early this year. I don't remember when I did the video, but I know I gave like a partial defense of Gen Z. So I want to do this again and hopefully have people chime in. Hopefully, some folks will want to tap in. Hopefully, um, if not, well, I'll just play games on here. No, I'm joking. um, but those are available here on this mobile stream for whatever reason. Um, but no, so this is just to tap in and let younger people chime in. Uh, and the topic is a middle-aged guy defends Gen Z. I it's just become too cliche to keep criticizing them. It's cliche in general because there's always middle-aged people yelling about younger people, and I'm tired of that BS. Plus, from what I see, old people don't support you on live streams. What's up, mafioso? 6326. I'm sorry, 6726. Might have to put on my glasses. Um, but yeah, like I said, this is a middle-aged guy defending Jay Z. I mean Gen Z. Did I say Jay Z? Gen Z. He's far from Gen Z. Shit, he's a boomer. He may claim he's a Gen X, but well, anyway. um, Rob Raul Barrientos says, "How are you today? I'm doing all right. I'm ready to eat again, so I'm gonna do that after the live stream. Like I'm gonna eat and then wind down before I go to bed. The streamer. I'm the streamer. I was saying my topic is a middle-aged guy defends Gen Z. This is something I did partially before, like 5, 6 months ago. So I'm doing it again, but I want to do it more aggressively this time. And I'm a jump into the shit of the people whom I'm usually aligned with, which is my generation, Gen X. I'm definitely going to jump into the baby boomer shit because they're easy to do so. Pause. But I am going to I'm trying to I think I'm going to pivot my content to make it more friendly towards Gen Z. For one, I'm not going to just keep bashing them like I've been doing for the past almost 4 years. It's like I said, I see little reward in it. It's funny sometimes, but there's little reward in it. And sitting there doing content that only one friend watches is completely pointless to me. Like if I'm gonna do content that only one person watches, I'm just gonna just stop my YouTube altogether. Like, is no point in doing content just because one friend thinks it's funny. Like, I find that completely, utterly useless. And the fact that he thinks is good doesn't reassure me whatsoever when there's only one person watching it. Like that was completely pointless whatsoever, and it frustrates the fuck out of me. So um, I am going to defend Gen Z. For one, I like where a lot of the, even though I have my criticisms of Gen Z males, I'm going to highlight the stuff that I like that they're doing. Um, Tristex2 says hello, brother. What's up? For one, I see that they, unlike millennials and perhaps Gen X, are moving towards becoming more um, right leaning, politically speaking, more Christian, conservative, more they like their parents or grandparents. They are moving towards uh, using shaming tactics again, using shaming words. Like they're not afraid to use the F and the R word to describe people's behavior, and I like that. um, on top of that, Gen Z males are less likely to be simps, unlike Gen X, who I think Gen X and baby boomers were the king of simp men. Like especially Gen X. Like we were, all our music taught us to be simps. Like Boys to Men. I don't know if you guys do. You guys remember Boys to Men? And so we come to the end of the road. That those guys. Uh, they literally had a song called "Simpin' Ain't Easy" back in the '90s, and I was like, "Come on, this has got to be fake." And I looked it up. No, they really had a song called "Simpin' Ain't Easy" back in the '90s. You had Ralph Tresvant, the lead vocal singer from New Edition, when he went solo, singing a song, Mr. Sensitivity, saying you need a guy with sensitivity. Because again, back in the '80s and '90s, they would tell men, "Oh, you gotta be more sensitive," which is basically the equivalent of today saying, "Oh, you have to be more emotionally intelligent." Same bullshit. um, and so yeah, everything you Gen Z folks encountered, we've already encountered, except the social media stuff. That is unique. The social media stuff, the smartphones, that that is all you guys for real. So the way you're navigating it is, uncharted territories, so to speak. But charting new tech is not new, but those particular technologies are new. Um, on top of that, I see Gen Z actually liking vintage tech. Like it's because of Gen Z that now I can go to places that aren't merely, uh, uh, flea markets or or antique shops, because I don't know how much it hurts my feelings finding the stuff I grew up with as a kid now in antique shops, and I'm not even in my 50s, guys. I'm in my 40s, and I'm seeing the stuff that I grew up with grew up with as a kid in antique shops. Like when I went to an antique shop in Old Ellicott City, like antique shop. Like I'm seeing like old, like I saw like old Happy Meal toys, um, typewriters, stuff like that. So now they did have some really antique shit in there though. Don't get me wrong, but I don't yet consider stuff from the '80s antique until I realize that the '80s was over. Depending on what part of the '80s, was over 40 years ago. Which for me, if I say like as a teenager in the '90s and young adult, 40 years ago from the '90s, excuse me, would have been the 1950s. And then I look back at that, I'm like, damn, the 1950s, that's old as shit to me. So I realized Gen Z, the '80s are just as old to them as the '50s are to me. So Yeah. But yeah, because of them, they're bringing vintage tech back that I can find in like comic book stores and other like trendy places where I don't have to go to an antique shop. Like they are now reviving VHS because Gen Z wants to look at VHS tapes. They brought back vinyl records. I mean, vinyl never disappeared, but it was just for collectors. VHS were just for collectors. So now they're actively watching VHS and listening to vinyl, and they have produced new modern record players to play the vinyls, and also where people can convert. Uh, I think vinyl to CD or CD to vinyl, which is pretty freaking cool. So a lot of those record players have that converter. Um, and actually, I think it may not just have CD. It might have like digital. Like you can probably. I'm not sure on this one. Someone can check, double check with that. But I think you can even. They have these record players that can convert the uh, music streams to a hard copy. Uh, Similar to how in the 2000s we used to burn we used to burn music onto a CD um, with the little CD burners that software we had on our desktops and laptops at the time. So now I guess you can do that with vinyl, but I'm not sure which way it goes. If it's vinyl to digital or digital to vinyl. Either way, I know the tech is now available, and they have it with these newer types of record players. So that's cool. So like they're jumping into like vintage tech. I've seen cassettes and Walkmans as well. Although I know that was popular in Japan, like back in the 2000s, and like they were still using Walkmans and V and cassette tapes, uh, which is cool. I mean, I'm not seeing people go as far back vintage as like the 70s with the the 8 tracks or anything like that. That's To me that was old tech as well. Like seeing my uncle or grandfather's collection of like 8 tracks or something. That was old. Um, Roses, I'm back. Cool. Um, but yeah, man. So I look like I don't have a lot of viewers on here as well. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I wanted to defend Gen Z and that I won't be attacking them anymore in future streams and videos because I see no profit in alienating a large potential base of viewers just to appease a few people who watch me who are my age. I see no point in that. Um, Another thing I like is that I see these guys being more financially responsible with dating. They're not they're less likely than us and millennials to go out and spend a bag on a date and get nothing out of it. I see a lot of these guys saying they're now financially celibate, and women hate that. The fact that women hate that mean you're doing a good job. If you're saying you're financially celibate, it's like okay, um, they want to be celibate, we're gonna be financially celibate. Like it makes no sense. And I mentioned this yesterday in my previous video to go out and spend $300 on a date, and the best you might get from it is a side hug and the opportunity to go on more dates to waste more of your paycheck. Till you get to this elusive opportunity where you can actually clap cheeks instead of going on a series of dates that may end in nowhere, or a really expensive first date where the person will say, well, thanks for the evening, but I don't want to continue this any further. um, but I had fun, because a lot of these women are literally dating just for free meals, and will go to their friends or even online bragging about how much money they save on bills because they just go out on dates and don't have to buy anything. Lucas says, "Hello, sir. Where are you from?" I'm from Maryland, the USA. So I'm guessing you might be foreign. I mean, not non-American, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna try to be nicer on my live streams. I'm gonna just ignore trolls. I'm not gonna go tit for tat with them because I see no point in it. He said I'm from Cyprus. Oh, okay, that's cool. Cyprus. I would imagine you got some pretty good food in Cyprus because Cyprus. Don't get me wrong, the food is similar to like the Greek food, right? I'm guessing so, like mostly Greek type Mediterranean food, right? So, but yeah, so yeah, like I said, not only is this a defense of Gen Z, but again, it's my also my pronouncement that I will not be attacking them anymore going on into future videos and live streams. I will welcome their their viewership and input on here. Uh, I even more so will just stop being likely to attack trolls because it's while it was funny at times and entertaining, it was just too distracting and it doesn't do anything. German underscore VK30.01 pieces. Do you like super heavy tanks? Examples: TS8 -95, the mouse object, 279 object, etc., etc. Um, I mean, I don't really have any. I really don't have any strong opinions on tanks. So, um, only tank I really think of is like the Sherman tanks. um, and I remember having fun uh, using the AT gun to shoot at tanks in basic training when we got to when we had our day of using U.S. Uh, U.S. weapons. That was pretty fun. I think a lot of people would like that day where we got to just shoot everything, like all the heavy, all the heavy weaponry that the M60, the AT gun, the RPG. Um, got to qualify with our frag grenades and all that sort of stuff. So it was pretty fun. And when we got to fire the AT gun, we got to fire it at an actual tank. So that was pretty dope. And the way you had to hold on to that gun to keep it in control, man, that it was fun. I'm not gonna even lie, that was fun. So yeah, I don't have any strong opinions on tanks. Lucas, he has like Greece. That's what I figured. I like some Greek food. The kind that doesn't have cheese in it. German says, "All right, he's I'm gonna be so honest. That sounds so fucking fun. Not gonna lie, but how you been, brother? How your day been? Good. Yeah, I'm fine. Do we know each other? I mean, not know each other in real life, obviously, but have you been on this platform before under a different username? But yeah, U.S. Weapons was freaking fun. Like it was kind of scary but fun at the same time. Cause, but yeah, it was fun. Like that's why I said, um, that because as a veteran, I would welcome going back into the service if I could get like a age a age waiver. After seeing people like David Goggins get an age waiver at 51 years old, he he reenlisted, but in the Air Force. But here's the thing. as a he was a former Navy SEAL who also qualified in as in Ranger School, Army Ranger School. But he reenlisted in the Air Force in in the uh, in the special what do they call it, Air Force Special Warfare Tactics Center or whatever. Basically, he's in the pipeline to become an Air Force PJ, which is a pararescuer jumper. Their special forces, and their training regimen to become an Air Force PJ is actually tougher than becoming a Navy SEAL. And he's doing this at the age of 51. And here's the thing, he's probably going to make it through. I mean, he's done ultra marathons and other sorts of stuff that, just boggle the mind uh, in his, late 40s. So he's probably going to make it through and be an inspiration to all the younger recruits. But again, having said that, I know a lot of veterans talk a lot of shit. A lot of vet bros like myself talk a lot of shit about, yeah, I would go back in a second. Um, but I actually do mean that. Like, I'm not saying because I'm going in there because I want to kick some ass and chew bubble gum and I'm all out of bubble gum. It's not that. I want to go back because I miss the. I'm going to be honest here. I miss the financial stability of being in the service, and it was a lot of stuff that I wish I did that I didn't do when I was in. So that's why I would want to go back if I could get an age waiver. Whereas a lot of other vet bros are just talking shit. Um, I'm that's not how I rock. But anyway, oh, so I was talking about Gen Z, and I was saying I like the fact that a lot of these men are more financially responsible with dating. Like a lot of them will are saying they rather like they refuse to take women out on expensive dates, if they, or they just refuse to date at all and say they're just gonna they're just gonna preserve their peace, and there's nothing wrong with that. And like I said yesterday when I was talking about the male loneliness epidemic being a bunch of bullshit that's being spread in the mass media by people who have agendas, that a lot of these guys aren't lonely because they're choosing not to date. They're just preserving their peace and they socialize differently than women. Like I said, a lot of these guys have a more goal oriented style of socializing. Like they socialize around their hobbies, like you know, doing MMA, going to the comic book store, buying, going to the anime stores, or um, maybe hitting a sports bar. Um, going to the gym. Like that's where you're gonna find most guys, you know, after work hours is at the gym. And a lot of women don't know that because a lot of the average women are fat and don't go to the gym, so they wouldn't know that that's where a lot of guys hang out, or they'll just stay at home and play video games, and they don't. And the video games, you're usually connected with your friends in the video games, so nothing wrong with that. With preserving their peace, especially when you're living in a time where money is tight and things are ridiculously expensive. why would you want why would it be rational to waste your money dating when you're struggling financially? That doesn't make good financial sense. Like, people should be happy that these guys are being more financially responsible instead of chiding them for not going out and blowing their money for the purposes of potentially finding either uh, a mate or just wanting to get a nut off. Because, like I said, if you want to just get a nut off, I'm pretty sure you can find those. I'm not gonna mention the websites. Pretty sure you can go to those certain websites where you can find a chick for $40. Just saying. I'm not gonna give the name of those websites. Or uh, You can go to one of these little brothels, especially one of these, particularly the Asian massage parlors. Instead of spending $200 on a date where you get a side hug and you don't see the bitch again, or you have to keep going on a on a multitude of these dates with the same woman before she decides to let you clap the cheeks, if she ever does, because she's already letting, best to believe, why you're paying money every week to go out with this chick, there's someone who's blowing her back out for free. So guys are hip, young guys, Gen Z are more hip to that than my generation was. We were simps. I had to train myself out of being a simp through watching Red Pill and Manosphere content. Because even, I would say, even up to like, even as even as recently as like, 8 9 years ago, I, yeah, I would have still been quite blue pill. But yeah, these guys are less simpish, less blue pill. They're not going to waste the bag. Like I said, go to look, instead of that $200 on a date where you're going to be sexually frustrated, you can take that $200, go to the Asian massage spa, and if you don't know where an Asian massage spa is, you can go to Rub Maps website. I'm not going to mention the specific website, but it's called. I mean, I'm not going to give you their URL, but it's Rub Maps. You can find Rub Maps. And the only reason I feel free giving you the name of this website is because they gave it on the radio. And not just like, and not like a like low budget radio. Like I was watching the Kane Morning Show. If people remember the Kane Morning Show before he passed away, about when he passed away, about six, I think he yeah, it's been about 6 or 7 years now since he died. But he was, before he died, he was fired from the show, although he was still a part of the radio company. Um, but he was now working on the corporate side because he had too many complaints from his coworkers. But he was the best part of the Kane Morning Show. Kane wasn't his real name, but that was his name he went by on the Kane Morning Show, which became syndicated across the country. And he and his one of his co radio jockeys, intern John, were were talking about Rub Maps at the, I think it was called rubmaps.com at the time, but it's since moved to a European site, rubmaps.ch, I think. Yeah, I know I wasn't going to tell you the URL, but okay, I gave you that much because, like I said, they gave it on the Kane Morning Show. Rub Maps will affiliate you to all the massage parlors in the area, so you can screen them by ethnicity and what they do. And I'll just say, if you can find like a good Korean or Chinese or maybe even Vietnamese parlor or spa, whatever you want to call them, look, you can go in there. $200, you're gonna pay like the house fee. The house fee is like, depends. It's gonna be somewhere between $50 and $70, right? That's the house fee for the massage. You go in there, they're gonna give you a table shower, means they're gonna strip you down and actually shower you. Okay. Yes, and I'm speaking from experience. I have no. I'm keeping it completely 100. Um, they're gonna give you the table shower. Um, well, first they're gonna welcome you in. It's usually going to either be the mama san or one of the workers. They're very all almost all of them are very sweet. Most of the women are very cute. They range in age and body type. So, but the mama san will let you choose what you want. If you don't like a particular person, they'll let you choose someone else, whatever. Or if you already have someone in mind, they'll let you choose that particular person if she's not already with another client. Anywho, they'll strip you down, give you a table shower, um, then give you a towel and put you in a sauna so you can dry up for a few minutes. Um, then they'll give you like a half-ass massage. Sometimes it's a real massage, but most of the time it's just like some little half-ass back massage. Then they ask you, do you want to, um, do you want a full service? Sometimes, especially if you're overseas, they say extra service, but full service, extra service generally means the same thing. You say yeah, and it's like how much you want to tip, how much you are inclined to tip lets them know whether you just want a BJ or you want to clap cheeks. Okay, and that's going to cost you somewhere between, you can negotiate with the girl somewhere between 110, 130. If she finds you cute, she'll probably lower the price. I'm going to be honest, because I again, I'm speaking from experience. um, and so then she'll collect the cash from you, because usually it's cash only. They don't take cards. It's cash only. They'll take the cash from you and be right back. Then they'll change or do whatever to freshen themselves up. And then often they will even come back and give you some mouthwash so that you can have some fresh mouth. So they don't want bad breath in their face either. And you'll do the do. So for $200 and a nice hour or however long you're there, you've gotten a you've gotten a table shower where they basically you know are touchy feely with you. Then you get to relax in a sauna for like 5-10 minutes. Then you get a massage. Like I said, it's usually like a little back massage, but sometimes they'll actually like give you a real good massage. Like I had one that walked across my back, and that felt so good. I'm not gonna lie, especially because she's a petite Asian woman. She's not some typical American woman who's like 180 fucking pounds. So, um, being a petite Asian woman walking across your back feels really good. It made me feel like I was Jim Jones in Enter the Dragon, even though I don't. He didn't get to walk across his back. It was actually the other character, John Saxon, who had the white woman walk across his back. But Jim Jones had all the hoes in the movie. He said, "I'm gonna choose you, and you, and you, and you, and you." Mind you, if I missed anyone, I'm kind of tired. I need to preserve my energy. Anyway, if you haven't seen Enter the Dragon, Gen Z, do yourself a favor, watch Enter the Dragon. I know it's a little slow because of the '70s movie, but if it's worth the little it's worth the slow burn. Trust me, especially when you know a lot of what went into making the movie that made Bruce Lee an international celebrity when that movie was released in 1973. Anywho, uh, so all of that for $200 is way more worth it than going to some restaurant, having a bitch stare at her phone while you try to make conversation with her to see if she likes you. Meanwhile, she's stuffing her face, and you're looking at the bill and the fact that you still got a tip. Now you're out 200, maybe $300, and for that same amount of money, you could have clapped cheeks, got a massage, got a table shower, and a sauna. So, choices. Anyway, Jeremy says, I hope you have a great day, my boy. I hope you stay up. Thank you. Appreciate it, bro. Um, but yeah, like again, I don't see too many people in the chat room. But like I said, going forward, if I'm gonna keep doing this YouTube thing, I'm not gonna ostracize a huge potential viewership by making fun of them because of their generation. Like we all have our quirks. Generation X has our quirks, and for older people to complain so much about Gen Z when they're the ones who gave birth to them, I find I'm a call bullshit on that. Uh, I haven't because I don't have kids yet, and when I do have a kid, it will be a Gen Alpha. Gen Alpha has only been around for 13 years, so I'm not even sure what their cultural milieu is going to be that's different from Gen Z. Just like originally there was no difference in the cultural milieu between Gen Z and millennials, but now we see a sharp divide between them. Like I think they beef with each other more than, than people beef with Gen X. But that's also because a lot of people don't know when or what Gen X is. They either confuse us with baby boomers or they confuse us with millennials, and we're neither. But yeah, man, I see a lot of promise with Gen Z. And look, a lot of the folks in the military right now, those are Gen Z troops. Those are Gen Z soldiers, Gen Z Marines, Gen Z sailors, Gen Z airmen, and they're doing a bang up job. And maybe less of them going into the service than in less than earlier years, but the ones who are in there are knocking it out the park. On top of that, again, when people again, my one of my criticisms is Gen Z is soft, but I always try to remind people that even though people criticize Gen Z for being soft, that the generation before the baby boomers and even before the silent generation was called the greatest generation. That's the generation of Steve Rogers, Captain America type folks. They're known as the greatest generation. But before World War II erupted, they were called soft as well. They were seen soft by their predecessors, the Lost Generation. The Lost Generation is a very apt name because they are the first generation of the 20th century. However, they get kind of swept under the rug because most people think of the greatest generation. On top of that, the Lost Generation started in the late 19th century and and ended in the beginning of the 20th century. So that's why it's a rather apt name to call them the Lost Generation. But the Lost Generation considered their children the greatest generation soft until they because the Lost Generation are the ones who fought like World War I, which was called the Great War back then, um, and saw some serious social upheaval in America at the time, going from the 19th century to the 20th century. So they considered their children the greatest generation soft until they manned up during World War II. So we can see the exact same thing happen with Gen Z. If by some bad luck we enter into a World War III, or not World War III, more than likely what we'll have is a bunch of localized urban warfare in many different parts of the world. Look, if they institute a draft or if they just need more men to step up, I'll we'll see that they can hold their own just like every other previous generation. So that's where I am with this. But since I don't really seeing anyone tapping in, like I wanted to see people tap in. Um, I, I'm gonna leave it here. I'm not gonna belabor the point, other than just to say, again, I wanted to defend Gen Z here, but I needed people to tap in to do so. So I don't have people tapping in to defend Gen Z. But I will also say that going from this moment forward, I will not ostracize them from my content. I mean, I'm still going to talk about nostalgic stuff from a Gen X perspective, like the 80s and the 90s, and being in college in the 90s and 2000s. But I'm not going to ostracize Gen Z for coming on and giving their views or talking about their music taste or other things. I won't do that anymore. Um, yeah, you need to stop spamming, my friend. um, but yeah, so going forward, I'm not gonna be going hard at trolls anymore. I think it's pointless, even if one or two people get a kick out of it. It does nothing for me. I'm not gonna ostracize Gen Z anymore. If anything, I might try to curate more content that they might like going forward. We'll see, but I'm not going to be bashing them anymore, especially just for an audience of one. It just makes no sense that I'm doing all of this for an audience of one. It serves no fucking purpose. If I'm not getting any financial, um, you know, financial revenue from this, what are we really doing? So that's where I'm at, guys. But again, if someone wants to tap in before I bounce, go ahead and do so. Like I said, um, I was prepared to 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 stage a vociferous defense of Gen Z, but I've also partially done that in the past. So I'll probably link that to this stream once I upload this for rebroadcasting. So I'll give it a minute, and save my voice by drinking some water and see if anyone wants to tap in before I bounce. And like I said, there's games on here you can play. So I'm gonna do these things, play these bunch of little games on here. I don't know what their purposes are. Apparently, we can play games on here, right? So we can play games on here too, I guess. um, I don't see the purpose of doing that during a live stream unless it's just unless the host of the stream would just literally just sit there and play mobile games just to just to get watch just to get watch hours. I don't know. Anyway, it looks like everyone's gone, so I'm going as well, guys. Have a good evening or a good day if you're on the other side of the world. I'm out. Peace.